Welcome back, Truth Seeker. A couple weeks back, there was the death of Oliver Power, the producer for the Wu-Tang Clan. And we noticed the first album the Wu-Tang Clan put out was on the anniversary of a major power outage. And then Bob Power, another hip-hop producer, died right after him. We were talking about this theme of the predictive programming of the grid going down. Again, when Janet Napolitano left office in 2013, she says the next 9/11 is not if, but when, and it will be a cyber attack on the grid. And she named possible suspects as Iran and North Korea. And, these deaths came while there was this mounting tension between the U.S. and Iran, and Trump talking about maybe he's going to bomb Iran. But anyway, we circled some dates. We said, March 11th, the anniversary of the Tribute in Light, the anniversary of Cootie's pandemic, one of these big 11s, that's a date to remember. March 22nd, old 322 is a date to remember. Remember at the halftime, Bad Bunny performed, and he performed a 3-minute and 22-second song, at least that's how long it is on the album, called The Blackout. And he did that at the 49ers Stadium that has experienced some blackouts in primetime games historically. Well, that was actually when they played at Candlestick, a little while back. They were in the Super Bowl 47 Blackout Bowl, the Harbaugh Brothers Bowl. But anyway, we circled March 11th, March 22nd, April 19th, and we said if we could get past those dates, this attack's probably not coming until the summertime. No doubt it is. 13 years after Janet Napolitano gave the warning in 2013. Again, Bad Bunny's album with the song The Blackout, the title is about the summertime. So, Anyway, we did get a cyber attack on March 11th. This is exactly what we're expecting, but not a power outage. It was a cyber attack on a medical supply company. And I want you to see what's interesting about this. The attack came March 11th, the exact date that we thought we might get something along these lines. And notice it was 134 days before Tisha B'Av. Again, Tisha B'Av is just so important. It's really just the thing that's really coming. The real attack of concern is the one that will help bring about the third temple. So I just want to document this. The first cyber attack came 134 days before Tisha B'Av, which is the day to remember the destruction of the temples and also the coming third temple. Remember, Trump, that coin's been on sale since February 28th, 2018, with his head on it to raise money to build the third temple. And lo and behold, we attack Iran on the 8th anniversary of that coin releasing, which is also the anniversary of Operation Desert Storm ending. But anyway, Tisha B'Av means 9th of Av. It's on the Jewish calendar. That's the day. 9th of Av is also 134. Stryker supplies medical supplies. Stryker medical supplies equals 134. Make America Great Again, of course, has the 134. There's a lot of 134s connected to Trump, including House of Cards, and that's what could unfold with the economy if the cyber attacks as deadly as Klaus Schwab said it would be. Remember, Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum have been simulating cyber attacks that take down the grid, and Klaus Schwab said when it happens, it's going to be worse than Cootie's 19, which definitely took a toll on the market. But yeah, don't forget Israel. It's really where it is because of this planned event they have with Temple Mount. And Israel's establishment date is May 14th, the 134th day of the year. Well, April 19th, which was Khomeini's birthday. Remember, I told you they would take out Khomeini before his birthday. He was 86. They had to 86 him. He was installed on 86. Anyway, April 19th, infamous day in history, very important day to the Jesuits. April 19th is the 109th day of the year. And the reason we had to have this date circled and still circled, and maybe even more interesting now, is it's the 109th day of the year. Cyber attack equals 109. And so does Stryker Corporation. That's what this company is officially called, the Stryker Corporation. And so we got March 22nd, we got April 19th. There could be other days too. I mean, There could be other days, but these are the ones that stand out to me. And April 19th, one of those recurring dates in history. It's the day of the Oklahoma City bombing. They just paid tribute to it with the firing of Kristi Noem 95 days after her birthday and replacing her with the Oklahoma guy. But yeah, also noteworthy, Stryker equates to 116. And, you know, we are coming up on... never mind that. I'm just going to let that thought wander through my brain. But 116 reminds us of Elvis Man's date, doesn't it? The 11th of June, another 11. The 11th of June. That'll be just before the beginning of summer. I did some work on why the week after could also be very interesting. But, you know, Elvis Man, after he presented his mostly crazy ideas, it was interesting how that show Paradise put out its new episode showing much of the United States of America getting destroyed, and they titled the episode Graceland. Graceland. Again, if you don't know, there's a madman in the world who thinks Elvis signals that Seattle is going to blow up someday on June 11th. And again, he's been predicting this for over a decade. And he predicted I was going to die in Seattle about 5 years back. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I did find it funny that Graceland episode came out, you know. Anyway, June 11th is an interesting day. These people love their 11s. Stryker is 116. And something that stood out to me is I had to measure from March 11th to June 11th when I saw that, and I saw it was 93 days. And if you don't know about the Talpiot program, it's one of the many 93 things in Israel. I've educated a lot in the past week in numerous videos about how important 93 is to Israel. But the Talpiot program is their technology program. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces technology program, is pretty much DARPA for the United States. And the Talpiot program is into hacking. Remember, one of their buddies, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's address is One Hacker Way. And I won't remind you when I got hacked in a major way. At age 33, the first thing that got hacked was my Facebook account, and then everything else followed behind it. But yeah, Stryker Corporation is what they are. And again, Stryker Corporation equals cyber attack. So go figure that the first supposed Iranian-linked cyber attack comes on a company that equals cyber attack. And also it goes with Khomeini being born on April 19th, the 109th day of the year. They're going to get vengeance for Khomeini, the CIA puppet. Also notice that their headquarters for Stryker are on the 42nd parallel. Of course, Iran and war equal 42. And a bunch of other relevant words too. But it's also on the 85th meridian west. You know, Jesuits 42, their motto is Sus Hominum Salvator is 85. October 7th, the day leaving 85 days left in the year. And also in the news buzzing, this comes the day after the cyber attack. We covered this earlier. The active shooter on the 61 date numerology, first at Old Dominion and then at West Bloomfield at the Temple Israel, which equals Jesuit order, a Jewish synagogue on the 71st day of the year, a temple on the 71st day of the year. This couldn't be predictive programming for Temple Mount, could it, in the state of Israel? Again, if you missed this video, I covered all this earlier, how it happened 201 days after Gretchen Whitmer's birthday. And more than a week ago, I put out the video on why June 3rd, the 10th anniversary of Muhammad Ali's death on 6/3, when the Prophet Muhammad died at 63, is a date to look out for, with potentially an accident, in big quotation marks, happening at Al-Aqsa Mosque or the Dome of the Rock, which is right next to it. Something they could clear out to build their third temple. But yeah, notice this town. It happened on the 42nd parallel as well, right? Iran and War 42, 83rd meridian. In last week's video, I explained how the Jewish word for the destruction of the temple equals 83. Today, a temple gets shot up on the 83rd meridian. And again, 83 days before the date that I talked about over a week ago, June 3rd. That's pretty weird, isn't it? And now they've put out the name of the attacker of the temple, and his name is Ayman Muhammad Ghazali, which equals 83. So, and don't forget, we just had BAM! score 83 points. Did a video on that earlier, a live stream, on why that also seems to be pointing to the temple. And notice this attacker's 41 years old. I mean, I've talked about 9/11 and the numerous 41 rituals with the U.S.'s worst terror attack in history. All September 11, 2001 had 41 date numerology, if you didn't know. The king of Saudi Arabia, it happened 179 days after his birthday at the time, which is the 41st prime king, Saudi Arabia, Al-Qaeda, USA. For some reason, I didn't put terror up there, but they're all 41, just like Skull and Bones. And the prince who was ruling over the nation at the time, it even came 41 days after his birthday. Oh, I did put the terror thing up here. Again, the World Trade Center was opened on the 94th day of the year. Construction began in 1968, the same year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. And yeah, so anyway, little update, but yeah, just a reminder, you guys. War usually brings inconveniences to people's lives. We've been warned about this event for a long time. Again, Janet Napolitano prepped America, for anyone who was listening, 13 years ago. She was the former head of DHS, which came out of 9/11, so I'm pretty sure she would know when she says the next 9/11 is not if, but when, and she told us exactly what it would be. And again, that pesky World Economic Forum's been simulating this event. There could be some major, major setbacks, so just make sure you're not living in fear, but you're living prepared. And you got things in case you need them. You got water. You got non-perishable food. You got first aid. You got a flashlight, batteries, protection device. If you don't like guns, there's other ways to protect yourself, like a can of bear spray can do some serious damage. You know, you might want a smaller one too that goes on the keychain. But yeah. Sadly, this is where we are now. The world did not stand up to the cabal. I mean, don't blame me. I've been fighting every single day for going on 13 years trying to get people to wake up. And you see where we are. You see where we are. We're at the bottom of the algorithm. We got less support for this work than ever. We got goofballs that have come in the community doing the wackest decodes ever, and somehow those are getting all the views. So, anyway, it doesn't look good for humanity, but you can't be surprised. Humanity just keeps failing the test, but don't you fail the test. If the grid goes down, like Public Enemy said, what you going to do when the grid goes down? The answer is you're going to be prepared. You're going to be steadfast. You're not going to be happy about it, but you're going to be prepared. So, let's hope it all blows over and nothing happens, but even if it does blow over temporarily, eventually this event's going to come. So make sure when the day comes, you're ready. All right, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. And until next time.